If you're an employee in Australia, that super line on your payslip is not proof of anything. Your boss can show the contribution on paper and still never send a single dollar to your fund. And right now, employers are quietly underpaying billions every year. Around 2.8 million Australian workers miss part of their super every single year, according to Industry Super Australia and the ATO. Today, I'll show you 3 free moves. Audit your contributions, report any shortfall, and monitor it so this never quietly drains your retirement. Here's the number that should make you angry. The ATO estimates the super guarantee gap, the difference between what employers should pay and what they actually pay, hit $6.25 billion in 2022-23, about 6% of all super owed. And here's the part nobody tells you, most of it is never recovered. So we're doing 3 moves today. Audit your contributions against what you're owed, confront and formally report any shortfall, then set up monitoring so it can never hide again. Each one is free and takes under 20 minutes. Here's how the system lets it happen. The Super Guarantee is 12% of your ordinary time earnings from the 1st of July 2025, but employers can misclassify those earnings, pay late, or skip casuals and apprentices entirely. The ATO says most of the gap is technical underpayment, with a smaller share deliberate non-payment, and the burden is on you to notice. And the gap isn't shrinking, it's growing. The ATO's own figures show the super guarantee gap rose from about $2.79 billion in 2015-16 to $6.25 billion by 2022-23. That's more than double in 7 years, which means more workers, not fewer, are quietly being shortchanged. Now the second layer, weak enforcement. The ATO acknowledges unpaid super and gives you a process to report it, but you have to detect it yourself. The trouble is, many workers only discover missing super years later, by which time the employer may be insolvent or the record's gone, making recovery almost impossible. Here's what waiting actually costs. Industry Super Australia modelled at just $1,994 unpaid at age 25 becomes about $14,000 less at retirement in today's dollars, because that money never gets decades of compounding. Check now and you catch it within a quarter. Wait, and the loss only grows. Let's kill the myth that blocks people from acting. Many think super is just a bonus from the boss, and if they don't pay it, tough luck. Wrong. Under the super guarantee laws, it's a legal entitlement. And from the 1st of January 2025, intentional underpayment of wages, including super, is a criminal offence with penalties up to 10 years jail and $8.25 million for companies under the Fair Work Act. Put the 2 numbers side by side. Industry Super Australia found an average loss of $1,994 per affected worker in a single year, and that 1 year at age 25 compounds to about $14,000 gone by retirement. Small gaps now, enormous holes later. Let me make this real. Meet Tanya. She's 29, an apprentice electrician, earning $60,000 a year with $25,000 in a retail super fund and 36 years until retirement. Her employer is a small construction firm that often pays late, and Tanya assumed her super was being taken care of. Then she actually checked. Tanya logged into MyGov and ATO online services and saw 0 employer contributions for the last 12 months, despite every payslip showing super accruing. On $60,000 at 12%, she should have received $7,200 for the year, according to the ATO. Not a dollar reached her fund. Here's the second, scarier discovery. Using Industry Super Australia's ratio, where nearly $2,000 unpaid at 25 costs, $14,000 at retirement, Tanya's $7,200 gap for a single year scales to roughly $50,000 less at retirement in today's dollars. That's a modelled estimate, but it shows 1 year of nothing is a 5-figure hit. And the third discovery hurt the most. It's not a one-off mistake. McKell Institute research found that in some sectors, between 42 and 75% of workers were underpaid super at some point, with young, casual and migrant workers most exposed. Tanya realised her situation was a systemic pattern in trades, not bad luck. So what does 5 years of this look like for Tanya? $7,200 unpaid each year for 5 years is $36,000 in missing contributions, and scaled by industry Super Australia's compounding ratio, that's roughly $250,000 wiped from her retirement balance. This is a modelled estimate, but it's 250,000 reasons to check. Could this be you? 3 signs to watch. You've never logged in to check your super and ATO online services. You don't actually know which fund your employer pays into. Or you're casual, a contractor, an apprentice, or you're paid late a lot. If any of those ring true, do the 3 moves this week. 3 moves. Let's actually do them. They're all free, and the first one will tell you in minutes whether you've been shortchanged. Move 1. Audit your contributions against what you're actually owed. This is general information, not personal advice. Log into MyGov, link the ATO service, and view every employer contribution reported to the ATO. Then use the ATO's Estimate My Quarterly Super Calculator to work out what you should be getting each quarter. 3 quick steps. Log into MyGov and link the ATO. Use Estimate My Quarterly Super to see what's owed. Then compare that against your fund statements and flag any gaps. Good looks like contributions matching 12% of your ordinary time earnings every quarter, with no missing periods. Move 2. Confront and formally report any shortfall. Gather your evidence, pay slips, your contract, your SG calculations, and fund statements. Ask your employer in writing to confirm when, to which fund, and how much super has been paid. If the discrepancy remains, escalate it properly. 3 steps. Collect your pay slips, contracts, and calculations. Ask your employer in writing to confirm the super they've paid. Then lodge the ATO's online Report Unpaid Super form and add a Fair Work Ombudsman claim if your wages are short too. Good looks like the employer making documented catch-up payments and the ATO progressing your case. Move 3. Set up monitoring so underpayment can never hide again. Turn on email or SMS alerts from your super fund for every contribution, and schedule a quarterly reminder to cross-check the ATO's reported contributions against your fund and your pay slips. Catch problems within 1 quarter, not years later. 3 steps. Switch on contribution alerts in your fund's app. Set a quarterly calendar reminder to cross-check MyGov against your statements. And for any missing or late quarter, follow up with your employer immediately. Good looks like every quarter, showing a matching SG payment within weeks of payday. Why does this matter right now? 3 dates. In 1992, the super guarantee began at just 3%, setting the legal baseline. In 2015-16, industry Super Australia exposed $5.9 billion unpaid, hitting 2.98 million workers. And from the 1st of January 2025, intentional underpayment of wages, including super, became a criminal offence under the Fair Work Act. The law is finally on your side. After you act, here's how to know it's actually fixed. You should see catch-up contributions land in your fund within weeks. Confirm that each new quarter shows a matching SG payment. And if gaps keep appearing, escalate with your ATO case reference number instead of letting it slide. Every figure today comes from the ATO, Industry Super Australia, the McKell Institute, and the ABC. All the links and the exact tools are in the description below, so you can do this yourself today. So now you know how to audit, report, and monitor your super so underpayment can't hide. Next week, I'm showing you how to find and merge your lost super accounts in 15 minutes. If this saved you from quietly losing thousands, subscribe. It's the one thing that helps us keep reading the fine print so you don't have to. See you in the next one.